Hey everyone, this is my first time using this, so bear with me. But we are working to build this brand new YouTube channel at the Booyah Bunch. It stems from our boutique, the Booyah Boutique on Facebook. I used to be with Paparazzi Accessories, a multi level marketing company, and I ranked up to the top 1%. And now I have resigned. I have decided to move on and build my own business and then use my knowledge and my experience to help others build their own business outside of MLMs as well. The newest story that is scouring the social media atmosphere is that one of Dre McCray. She is a social media influencer that started out with makeup tutorials and makeup lives, and then she started to have her family kind of be incorporated, and she kind of became a social media influencer over a few years, and then decided to join Paparazzi Accessories, the same MLM that I myself had ranked up in. Now, fast forward to 2022, she's all over the media, all over the social media arena, and her story is being picked up by those who report on true crime, which is really awesome that they cared enough to bring that story to light. I am not a reporter at all, but I do have personal experience with inside the multi-level marketing company that she hails from, and I also was a follower and a fan, and I looked up to her. I admired her. I wanted to be just like her back before when I myself was a paparazzi leader. I never got to where she is, but I was only in for about a year, almost a year and a half before everything kind of crumbled. And that will be a video for another time. I can't wait to come and share the story of where I came from and what paparazzi did for me and how I left and what I have been able to build on the outside of the multi-level marketing company. I wouldn't consider myself entirely anti MLM. I don't agree with the tactics, and I'm not ever going to be part of one. But I also believe that everybody should be able to do whatever they feel is right, as long as they're not knowingly taking advantage of other people or doing anything cringe like that. But as long as they're doing what they believe is right for them and it's not hurting anybody, then who am I or anybody to be anti anything? That's just kind of been my stance from the beginning and always will be. So a lot of things that I might say will come across as though I am completely anti all MLMs and I'm a hater on MLMs. And that's not the case. I don't think any anti MLM creator is a hater of any kind. But if you ever get that sense from me, same deal. I'm not hating on anybody anywhere. Also, when I left paparazzi, we decided to go in a new direction. We built our own company that offered products and sold products, but then we also launched into an affiliate program where we could help other people launch business, product businesses that are outside of the MLM arena, but it's not in a multi-tiered way. It is just a single level of just me helping a few people, very limited. But then also we asked our followers, we started the Booyah Boutique was born on January 1st, 2022, so a short 7 months, 8 months ago. We had asked our followers then what it was that they would want to see us bring to the store, to because we never were just a boutique. Even when I was with paparazzi through the pandemic, we would have fun and have hundreds of people watching our live shows. We would sell out of everything, and we would have like games and we had fun slogans and sayings, and we were going to get into merch and all kind of things because we had so much fun. It was an experience. We were a family. Well, so naturally, when I left paparazzi and we went into a new business, we asked everybody, what is it that you would want to see? What do you want us to talk to do? And so many people overwhelmingly voted for true crime. You should cover true crime, where we could sit and talk about a case like how we did with your live shows. We can sit and talk about a case. So that's just a little bit of a background of why I am telling this story. I'm not in any way trying to outdo anybody or replace anybody. I certainly have, I'm a nobody in this field, and I don't plan on ever being a reporter. of true crime, or that kind of, there will be things on our channel that are related to true crime, but that's not we're not only a true crime reporter trying to replace anybody, or do anything in that sense. We're not trying to step on anybody's toes. I just wanted to get that across there too. But the reason why this seemed like the perfect story was because I knew her. I knew Dre McCray, which I'm going to tell you guys about her if you don't already know, just a quick little synopsis. But I knew Dre McCray before the story, and I just feel like somebody needs to kind of talk about the other side. I feel like she's being portrayed in a really terrible light. And I totally understand that light. I'm not trying to diminish the bad, negative light that she's being put under, because she has made some very questionable decisions in her life as a mom and other. But I also feel like she should not be quite bashed in the way that she kind of has been all over social media, which I will explain. But this seemed like the perfect case to start with as our first YouTube video, because I am ex paparazzi 1%. I ranked to the top 1% in 14 months, and I remained there for the next few months until I decided to leave, which again, we'll get into that story someday. But I know what it's like to lead a large team of 100 people, or well, hers is probably 20,000, 30,000. Mine was a couple hundred, but like, I know what it's like to feel that pressure to be part of that multi-level marketing structure, to have it kind of engulf your entire being. And that's essentially what it has done to her. But she had a following before that. So this seemed like the perfect story because of my connection with Dre, and paparazzi, and my followers from Facebook, the 3,000 of them over on Facebook that have requested true crime over here on YouTube. So it was just the perfect place to start. But I've never recorded a video before, so I'm sure this one's going to be terrible. And I'm not an editor at all. I know nothing about YouTube, nothing about editing, nothing about recording. I'm a live video person, always will be. And so this is going to be very awkward for me, and I'm not even going to want to watch myself afterwards. So this will be fun. It's going to be full of mistakes, and just deal with it. I will get better. I promise you that. And we'll have a lot of fun here at the Booyah Bunch. I have 5 babies that all want to join in and show off their talents, and you guys are going to love my babies. But until then, let's dig into it. Let's get into it with Dre McCray. So Dre McCray, Andrea McCray, married Marvon McCray, which made her Andrea McCray, and she had 2 young daughters from a previous marriage, Bella and Oasis, and they're beautiful girls. I mean, they are just beautiful. When she married Marvon, he was in the military, and he ended up having an honorable discharge due to an injury. They Over time, she started to build a following on social media. Then they had a child together, a son named Raza. So Marvon, Dre, her 2 daughters, and their son together all resided together. I'm sorry, I'm getting messages. They've all resided together and built this social media empire. Long before paparazzi accessories came into the mix, she was making makeup videos, and she grew a page on Facebook first that was called Slay with Dre McCray. And it was all about makeup at first. And then it was fun skits where her and her husband would like dress up and pretend to be old people or pretend to be things. It was so funny. Then they got their kids involved, and it was just great. Then paparazzi came along, and she jumped in 2018, becoming, elite within her first year. She rose up in the ranks during the hot time of paparazzi accessories, which about 2018, like pretty much anybody that joined in 2018 that really stuck to it kind of had it, like, because that's right when like Facebook live selling became a thing, and like they were able to, the people that knew how to work social media in 2018 were the ones that were going to rank up. Okay, and it's true. You could see the proof in the pudding. You can see all the big elites. If they weren't there in the very beginning, they pretty much came out around 2018. I didn't join till early 2020, so I kind of missed that. But not saying it was easy, but Dre knew how to work social media to her advantage, and she was able to use that advantage to rank up in her multi-level marketing company, Paparazzi. Paparazzi, if you don't know, is $5 jewelry. I'm actually wearing paparazzi for the show, for this video, to show you that it's not bad jewelry. There's a whole lot of rumors, and then there's a whole lot of things that I will uncover that are very much not good about the company. And we can get into all of that. And I will be completely honest. I will tell you the real truth, all the great things, because there are good things that come out of it, out of paparazzi, and all the real truth bad things. And I will be honest and straight with you. I'm not going to come at you with an anti-MLM stance to try to get you against them and hate on them. And I'm also not going to sugarcoat anything and try to get you to join. Okay. So I'm just going to give you the straight up truth and tell you my real true story one day. That's probably going to be a soon video if I can get this one out well. So back to that. So she joins paparazzi and she starts selling this $5 jewelry. She's doing live shows and she's now building a second page called Blingin' on a Budget, which is her other Facebook following. So she had to keep them separate because, as per paparazzi accessories compliance, when you join, you have to not cross promote, which means you can't, she could not be on Slay with Dre doing her makeup and saying, hey guys, go over to my jewelry page, Blinging on a Budget, and you can grab my earrings. At the same time, she couldn't be on her Facebook Live on Blinging on a Budget with paparazzi showing her jewelry and saying sold earrings while she was also promoting the makeup that she had on her face. So she had to keep the two separate, and she did that very well. I'm sure there was some level of cross promotion, but it was never enough to be caught and given consequence for. So she continued to rise through the ranks of the multi-level marketing of paparazzi and growing her following on both ends. Well, then about a year and a half or so ago, she started to get into alternative healing, alternative medicine, homeopathic things. She started kind of like avoiding doctors, not really wanting to deal with doctors. And her husband started having seizures. It was then said later that her children had seizures, but I'm just telling you what I know, that I remember her husband having seizures. And she was more or less trying to find natural home medicines to help him. And it's looking now bad on her, like she was like giving him all these horrible herbs and things like that and refusing medical. And see, for somebody that kind of watched it, I don't think that was quite the case, because just being the devil's advocate here, that there were times that he would refuse medical care. He would not want that. There were times that, he was kind of an active participant in what she was doing. I don't feel like he was like quite the victim as it's being portrayed in a lot of things now. And I'm not saying that those that are reporting this story are wrong or are bad for saying what they feel or they believe. I'm just doing the same by reporting what I've seen and what I believe. I believe she made a lot of mistakes. I just don't believe she was malicious intent. Like, I don't think that she had malice in her intent to treat her husband. Now, where the line gets drawn here is her herbs being given to the children, which I don't have proof of her giving such horrible herbs to her children. But if that were to come out to be true, that would be a problem for me. But again, we all make mistakes. And the main thing that she is getting a lot of crap for is the kratom. Now, that is just a tea that you can buy on websites. There are states that offer it in like local gas stations and whatnot, but it's basically an alternative to opiates. Now, what I've also learned in this whole process is that there are people that feel like their lives have been saved by this opiate or this opiate derivative, this plant from Malaysia, from Southeast Asia, that's called kratom. You're able to drink it as a tea or put it in a capsule. And I looked that up the other day and I seen that you can even buy it in a gummy form. And it's almost like similar to me. And again, I'm not educated on this enough to say that it's molecular like this, but it feels to me a lot like CBD or THC, where everybody's like instantly like, oh, that's a drug, that's wrong, and that's illegal. Whereas you don't really know, because each state is different, each body reacts to it differently, and each place that sells it sells different forms of it. So nobody can really tell you what's exactly, like, you have to do your own research. And there are people that have recovered from opiate addictions and have lived on this medication, this herb, and it has saved their life. So now there are advocates for this herb who are now speaking out in anger because of this case, now putting a negative spin on this herb that they feel saved their life. So just imagine if you were struggling with addiction or some kind of disease and you found some kind of herb that like literally saved your life, and it was controversial at the time, and you kind of like finally got it to be okay, and then all of a sudden now this random story of people you don't even know is now putting a bad thing, and it's going to probably open up all kind of, conversation again about this. And so, I mean, you have to look at it from all sides, that it might not be all bad, but she started to give this special K to herself, her husband, and then and potentially her children, which that's again where I would draw the line. But I don't know for sure, and I don't feel like saying that she has without definitive proof is not fair to Dre. I'm not here to, completely support Dre. I just feel like there's more to the story. There's a whole lot of drama surrounding this whole case, but I'm trying to get to the point of it. So Dre is doing all of these things and then also decided to follow a diet, a very restrictive diet called the Dr. Sebi diet, SEBI, and it's very restrictive. It's alkaline vegan. So if you think vegan is a restrictive diet, look into alkaline vegan. It's all about the pH in your body and keeping it alkaline. And it's insane how they eat. It's insane how restrictive it is. But that's what she decided to do. She's a Jehovah's Witness, not that that matters, but I'm just telling you facts that she's a Jehovah's Witness. And she decided to take on this Dr. Sebi diet and try to go a more holistic way. Now, her religious views may play a part in that. That's why I felt like it might be needed to be said, but maybe that played some kind of role in her decision in changing her life around. Her husband seemed to be a willing participant in every single step as they both continue to drop weight, crazy weight, to the point where they both looked unhealthy thin at now. But just imagine if you're in that situation, you think you're doing well because you're losing the weight. Unless somebody comes to you and says, hey, like, you need to stop this, and you take them seriously, she didn't look that bad. But now that after all this has come to light, now you look at her like, oh, wow, she went too far. But before that, you didn't think that way. Trust me, I followed her and I didn't think, oh man, she lost too much weight. I never thought that once. Come to the end of May 2022, she was, prior to that, she was posting all day long. So she would post on her Slay with Dre McCray every day, a video, a live, or a live, reels, all the whole works, the social media influencer work. Okay, I do it, and I am nowhere near her popularity. So she would do that, and then she would do Bling It on the Budget, her paparazzi page. She would go to her training page and post things about her for her team, whatever. And then she would go to her supporters. So she had people that paid monthly for extra in-depth supporter lives. So she would go do those. So she was live all of her life. Okay. And all of a sudden, like towards the end of May, she kind of goes AWOL. Everybody wonders, where's Dre? And I remember going to her page a few times thinking, am I blocked? Why would I be blocked? Like, because it just seemed weird that like there wasn't very much for a little while. I think like it may have just been a day, but it just seemed, or maybe it was just less. I noticed something. And then she comes on the live and she seems completely normal and fine. Like, I personally don't think I noticed anything. But then she made a post asking for a tube feed, like to feed in a feeding tube. And what's ironic to me is at the exact same time in my personal life, I was called out to take care of my mom, who was then put on hospice and given a feeding tube. So literally, I clicked on her story because the very day that she asked for that, it was mid-June sometime, was the day that I was driving to the hospital to learn how to run a feeding tube. So I felt like, okay, I'm going to watch this girl. And then I was like, wait a minute. Why does she need a feeding tube? So then I start, so that sparks like all these followers are now like, well, wait a minute, what does she need that for? Then she comes and she does a live and she lets everybody know. She comes forward and says simply this. She says, thank you for following me. Thank you. I love you guys. We're going to keep it all positive and no questions. But Vaughn is in a coma. He has had a brain injury and he's in a coma. I'm not answering any questions and we're keeping it positive only, okay? So don't ask in the comments. I'm not going to tell anybody. I'm not even telling my family anything right now. He has a brain injury and he is in a coma, but he's going to wake up. He's going to wake up. We are going to pray for Vaughn, pray for or Jehovah, hashtag Jehovah heal Vaughn shine. And so she called him Vaughn. His name was Marvon. And she started to daily sing a song to him on his deathbed in a coma. She would sing this song, and I don't even like calling it the deathbed, but he's in a coma, he's unconscious, and she's rubbing his face. This was later, but she's rubbing his face and singing, "You are my Vaughn shine, my only Vaughn shine. You make me happy." Okay, so then she initially says this hashtag Jehovah heal Vaughn shine. Okay. Um, so everybody doesn't like nobody knows what happened. What happened to your husband? Why is he in a coma? Why does he have a brain injury? What happened? And I specifically personally remember asking 2 times. And then I was limited on I was no longer allowed to comment on her live. So I just had asked, like, are you guys okay? What happened? Because I was concerned. Now, I wasn't blocked from the page or anything, but I just wasn't able to comment after that. So she kept everything very positive, but then she would go to the hospital every day, all day, and do live streams of her singing that song with him in a coma, like with his head right, and just like petting his face and doing those things. And sometimes would accidentally get his mouth open. And nobody would want to be presented that way on social media, especially to the amount of followers that she has. And that's when I was like, what are you doing? Like I just don't get it. Like, okay, if it was like a little minor accident and he's like legit gonna be okay, but you're not telling anybody anything. It's very strange and it's just suspicious that you're not giving any details. But then later on, it comes out that his parents wanted to come see him. Now, those who had followed her before, especially in the supporters group, knew that Vaughn had a lot of reservations about his parent, or at least his mother, his birth mother. His birth mother was a teenage mom who had given him up for adoption to his grandmother. So he was not raised by his biological mother. And I'm not here to bash her at all. All I'm saying is fact that he was not raised by her and he had a lot of reservations about her. They had a lot of history that supporters especially knew a lot more than the average person about his reservations, about his parents and things like that. So Dre fully told his biological mother that she was allowed to come see him and fully had his father and stepmother come see him. There was no issue. But all of a sudden on social media, the biological mother was saying that she couldn't see him, that she needed financial support to be able to go see him and to get a lawyer to be able to go see him. And that's where I was like, she actually showed the video with the voicemail of Dre herself saying, "Yeah, you can come on in," out and gave directions on how to get there. Now I understand he was ill and that first initial visit was delayed, but I feel like there was some kind of ulterior motive there in trying to almost like gain something from this experience, as sad as that sounds. And I don't want to throw hate anywhere. I'm not going to, because I don't know everybody's story. And I know that just my making a video and telling my side, I know I'm going to get more hate than anything, because anybody that's like hating on Dre is going to throw me hate, you know, and I know anybody that loves any of these other players are going to have an issue with me, and that's okay. I'm just telling you my side, and that's okay. We all can coexist with different feelings about different people. We can all create content. My content's not going to be about true crime. You guys can have your true crime, and I'm not going in that direction. But I just feel like there needs to be a voice for Dre and Raza right now, because after all this, Vaughn is now still in a coma. The biological father of the two girls from her previous marriage has filed for emergency custody of his daughters. And there was a hearing today that Dre did not show up to, and now there's this big whole thing about her breaking court order and going to be arrested. And I just wanted to put that straight, that this is not criminal. She has not been charged with anything criminal. As far as I know, there's nothing criminal against her. There's not even, I don't even believe there's a CPS case against her. I don't think it's as bad as social media is making it out to be. I truly believe that he is just getting custody, and they continued it so that they can get more things together as normal court proceedings. I could be wrong, but I do not believe that it's that kind of situation. And she's not going to be arrested. She's not hiding from the law. She's just doing things her way. And if anybody knows Dre, she's going to do it her way. And I just feel like, after all this is said and done, when Vaughn wakes up from this coma, it's been couple months. Wait, yeah, 2.5 months now. And I truly believe that he is going to wake up. I truly believe he's going to recover. And I truly believe that he's going to be Team Dre. I do believe that he's going to wake up, or even just the hypothetical that if he were to wake up, I feel like he would be so upset at how Dre has been drugged through the mud. Now, those of you that are like hating on Dre, like, I totally get it. She is not okay. Like, she needs help. She does. She needs help. I do believe she needs help in getting all her stuff together. But just imagine, if you're a mom, imagine putting every single moment of your life, not just on camera, but on camera for hundreds of thousands of people to view and judge every minute of every day of every parental decision that you make. Now put that in perspective when something's going on with a child, or you're really frustrated, or let's say you yourself are struggling with severe depression. Let's say you yourself have struggled with addiction. Are you here going to tell me that every single minute of every single parental engagement that you've had since the day you became a mom has been perfect? You cannot. You cannot. None of us can. But her entire life, everything she did, said, planned, thought, wanted, did, like, everywhere she went, every single thing that she said to her children was on camera. So, of course, kids are going to say things, you're going to say things. Things could have been said that were not even accurate. For example, there's a video of her and Raza, her son, would eat mangoes together. One video critiques how she's using a knife and how she taught her son to use a knife. And I mean, my kids don't eat mangoes like that, but if they did, I would assume I would teach them how to use a knife. He wasn't hurting himself. So I don't see why that's a bad thing. If that's in your culture and you're doing those things and you're eating those things and you teach your child how to use it, who are we to judge what was the right way to teach your kid how to use a knife? You know, I mean, that's her. And in another video, I think it may have been a similar or the same video, Raza's sitting there talking about the herbs that mommy gave him. And he said something like, I think it was crade. And she goes, oh, you mean the passion flower. Now, see, there's a big difference between the Special K and the passion flower. I don't think it's right to give a child all these mixes of herbs. But if she did her own research, if she talked to a holistic doctor, we're not going to know if she has records of holistic doctors. And if that's her religious beliefs, being a Jehovah's Witness, and she believes in the homeopathic way and the natural way of life, why are we judging that? I mean, I would never do that, but that's not my lifestyle. But listen, one of my children is very special needs. She's hearing and speech impaired very much, and she also struggles with autism, ADHD, um, um, ODD, all kind of things. And one day I'm going to introduce her to this channel, and you guys are going to love her because she is the most amazing little girl you'll ever meet in your life. She also loves to sing. She can't hear or speak very well, but she loves the sound and tone of music, and she's going to sing songs for us. So that's exciting. But back to the story, my child, I have how many times I have been online looking for natural ways to help my child. Just desperate because I don't want to give her medication because I'm talking to the doctor on a regular basis and I just don't want to give her drugs. I don't want her to be on something that's going to alter who she is. I don't want her to be on something and to be judged and have to have that on her record forever. So how many times is a mom crying when she is having issues and having her issues, and I'm there desperately on YouTube trying as her mom to find her an alternative to some kind of treatment. Now, I'm not saying that I'm going to go buy random mixes of teas and dangerous herbs and sit here and have her be a guinea pig. That's not at all what I said, but there may be people that would take that comment that I just said and decide that that's what I said and that's what I meant, and it be completely taken out of context. None of that is true, but I know what it's like to feel that way. And maybe she did try a little bit of a passion flower, which I'm not educated enough about, but I don't believe she was giving her children spoonfuls of the special K and getting them addicted to this opiate derivative and abusing her family by keeping their diet restricted. And then there was even reports that she possibly unalived her husband and had done something to his neck because he was found. I didn't even tell that part. See how bad I am at telling stories? That when the report came out early July, it was that she found him trying to unalive himself in the backyard, in the shed, in the backyard, like a little tiny shed that he was hanging from. The police report was released, and they came and found Dre there with a piece of rope, and his body had been without oxygen for 30 minutes, is what the police report says. So that just adds a whole nother thing. So there were people that came out later that said that there were burns there, or that it could have been her hands who did that. And like, I just think that all this speculation is for no reason. I think the hate on Dre is a little bit too much. Yes, she's made mistakes. Yes, I'm sure she regrets a lot. I'm sure she does. I'm sure she feels so guilty and so bad for so many things. But don't we all? Don't we all often wonder, like, man, I wish I was. Okay. All right, we're still on. Okay. There's going to be a gap there because it looked like they turned it off. I was trying to turn it back on. So hopefully I know somebody that can edit that out. But if not, I'm sorry about that weird moment there. That completely threw me off. But The bottom line is I don't believe Dre is as guilty as all these people are making it out to be. I do believe that she's made a lot of mistakes, and I believe that all of us have made mistakes, and we would all change things and do better with our lives if we would all make better decisions going back if we had a chance to relive it, right? And I do believe that um, I have my own opinions on how people I feel like have monetized this whole story. But the people who report on the story and give the facts, I totally get it. That's number one, that's your job. Number two, people look for that and need to know that and get the whole full story. And I fully respect all those who have taken the time to do a deep dive and really truly talk about this case. Like that is really, really good. I'm not meaning those people at all. I feel like there are some players close to Vaughn biologically that maybe have kind of took a slight advantage of this case, and that's just my opinion, and a lot of people feel that way. And there was a lot of money donated, and now all of a sudden it people are getting blocked, and nobody knows where the money is gone. And some people are saying it's okay if she goes and just does whatever she wants with it. Other people are saying she's supposed to get a lawyer and things like that. And I'm not even going to talk about that. I'm not even going to talk about that. I didn't even want to go there, but I just feel like that maybe is a little sus. But and then there's people that just like overdo it, like are talking about it live all the time, and just kind of like getting money for their being live like all the time, talking about all this, and there's just really nothing else to talk about. Vaughn is still in a coma. We hope he wakes up. Dre has made a lot of bad decisions. Like she is so guilty in ways, like going live when her husband was in a coma and almost looking like she was monetizing the experience. Okay, that was wrong, Trey. That was wrong. But looking back now, I think you know that. I think you would totally do it differently. And I truly believe, Dre, if you ever see this, that you were doing that for Vaughn, because you were doing that to keep him being prayed for, to keep the spotlight on him, to keep your supporters knowing what was going on, because they've been supporting you guys. They want to know. So you were kind of like including him, and I totally get that, because I was, I keep my followers in the know, and like not we're nowhere near what you have. So like I totally get that to a point, but I also believe that now looking back, you're thinking maybe I shouldn't have done that, but that's okay because we all make mistakes. And then if there ends up coming out true things that, children were hurt or harmed in the process, then of course my support would change. But as of right now, from what is proven and what has been shown and what I've seen as a supporter, what I lived as a leader in paparazzi, and knowing how much it takes your life and how you feel about putting your whole, everything out there, I totally get it. And I just believe that certain people have kind of taken too much advantage of it, and that Dre has been personally drugged through the mud for a little bit too long, for a little bit too much of a reason. I just don't believe that Dre is as guilty as everybody makes her out to be. But that's just me. That is me. That is my opinion. This is all just for educational purposes only. I'm not a YouTube creator. I am not a reporter. I am not even a paparazzi leader anymore. I just simply care. And my concern now is Dre and Raza. And I truly worry, because I feel like if the bio father takes the girls, Raza loses daddy and his sisters, and now his mommy is being attacked. Can you imagine? Imagine Raza growing up and seeing all of this. The internet is forever, honey. Even if you delete it, it's forever. So Raza loses daddy in the most violent way. Then he's given hope that daddy's going to be okay, but now all of a sudden everybody hates mommy. And there's even things about mommy being arrested and being criminally responsible. And then the other daddy comes and takes the girls. And now there's no grandma to go to for Raza because grandma was the one that didn't raise daddy. So there's nobody that's going to step in and raise Raza. I mean, as far as I know, I'm nobody, but you know, I worry about Raza. I worry about Dre. Because let's just hypothetically say that Dre was struggling with severe depression and maybe had become addicted to this Special K without even much so realizing it. Just taking it for pain and for whatever. And then all of a sudden you're like, oh crap, like I'm addicted to this. And now she has to take it and it's altering her. And being part of an MLM and I'm again, I don't mean this in a bash paparazzi sense. I just mean this as the pressure to be a leader, the pressure to recruit. She was just doing videos that were commented on about her trying to be a hope dealer, trying to keep recruiting for her MLM, because paparazzi took a big negative dive. And that's a whole nother aspect to this case that could have very well impacted this. And that's why I felt like I could maybe give a little bit more light on the case too. Because a year ago, paparazzi completely changed. And that could have very much affected her income and made her a little bit more concerned and a little bit more like, we got to work harder. We got to, maybe take more Special K to not sleep as much, to work harder and get more recruits and get more, you know what I mean? I know that pressure. And after paparazzi took the big decline that they did, I totally see that as a potential factor in this case. And then, so now she's like feeling all this pressure and all this. And then she finds her husband trying to unalive himself. And she's like, oh no, like that, what am I going to do? You know what I mean? Like, I need his military benefits. I need what am I going to do? And I mean, after the fact of being horrified, and shocked and scared. But I mean, when you finally you get to the hospital and he's in a coma and you're like, oh crap, and then you're like, well, my supporters really would want to know what happens. I should just be honest with them. You know what I mean? Like, I could see how that would flow from one thing to another, but I worry, what if she got herself addicted to that Special K in that whole paparazzi going downhill process, and then got herself into this, doing that more, sleeping less, eating less. It's going to have an effect. Now she's addicted without being like an addict, but she's addicted. So now it's changing her behavior. It's changing her thoughts. It's changing her mood. And now all these things are happening. And then she finds her husband that way. So just kind of imagine if she was in that situation, if she was truly depressed and an addict on accident, and she desperately needed help, and then she loses her husband almost, but pretty much, and she's watching him die, and she's trying the best she can to keep supporting her family, and then all of a sudden she's attacked, and not just attacked, but accused of doing this to him, accused of being criminally responsible, accused of being a bad mother, a bad everything, and that's going to destroy her paparazzi business. If Vaughn wakes up, even if he says pro Dre was right, da 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 da, her paparazzi business is not going to work. She's not getting any advertisement endorsements right now. She's not going live. She's making no money. What's going to happen to her and Raza later? Meanwhile, the biological mother that has never been around is now profiting. Creators are making content now profiting. Everybody's getting, all these followers and all these stories and constant live streams to talk about this case, to monetize this case. Meanwhile, she's losing everything, and so is Raza. And she might not be this bad person that everybody made her out to be. That's just my 2 cents. It's just the booyah. And I could be completely wrong. And if that's the case and she is responsible, then it is what it is. But I just don't believe that is the case. I do not believe I don't believe that. So I just want from here on out to be a little bit less hating Dre, and let's see if we can help her. And let's worry about Raza and try to help Dre instead of destroying somebody who was probably already lost enough. And I hope I did this video right. And I'm going to try now to see what I can do about that part that got messed up in the middle. But I love you guys, and I hope that you love this channel. It's going to be fun the more I learn about it. Until I see you guys again, stay safe, stay healthy, stay sane, stay positive, but not COVID positive, and keep on changing this crazy world one booyah at a time. Booyah.